The idea was to take a young woman who had just bought our house and to kind of show her going through the options and the kind of thought processes of decorating, and use that as kind of parallel for the idea of choosing which financial institution to get your mortgage from.
It wasn't a usual ad, I suppose, in that we didn't have a huge amount of money, but yet we wanted to do a full-on TV ad. So my first conversation to Bernard, I suppose, in the Element was in the very early stages before we presented to the client. We kind of said, what technology is out there? What can we do digitally? We had a rough idea that costs were going down with digital cameras, etc. But basically, the conversation to Bernard was, how can we get this ad on air with the money we have?
We decided to shoot on Red because Red offers the best flexibility. In other words, it's budget conscious, number one. It's a fast processing afterwards once you've shot. And number three, you have the flexibility of frame rates.
We needed a director that was good with people, really, really important. Somebody who could bring warmth out in the performances of the people. And then I suppose the seamless kind of post-production end with the background, the creative elements in the background, and then the finish of the whole ad. That all had to be done in-house. It had to be done very, very quickly. The turnaround was very fast.
Well, the casting was critical because the actress, which was Lisa, they had to have a very good, strong personality. They had to bring the commercial to life, and they had to be able to act to an imaginary background that was changing. So that required a vivid imagination. It required the actress to use all her personality to the fullest, and also that she had to be very flexible and subtle, almost like a dancer. And Lisa, thankfully, had all those qualities.
The most challenging part was to make the textures on the wall look convincing. Sometimes you could think it's easy to do, but when you're working in a commercial and you're working on a TV screen, trying to make those textures, which can be quite finite and small on screen, trying to make them look convincing can be challenging enough. And I think that was the most challenging part of this, because as I said, like the green screen was great. There was no problems with masking or anything like that. So it was just integrating that texture onto the wall. Plus, coming up with some ideas for example, if you have a crossword on the wall, it's how's that crossword going to animate and how's it going to look? Does it look better as a static piece on the wall, or will it look good as an animated piece with the crosses and the knots coming on, animating on? So I think from that aspect, that was probably the most challenging part, although I think it's something that we got around quite simply as well.
It was up to us to try and see how far we could take this and how much further it could be brought. So our initial idea was to try and create interaction between the foreground action and the background wall. And that's when we came up with the concept of creating animation for the background wall.
The commercial, I think, exceeded our and the client's expectations, down really, I think, to the whole team at Element, who put a huge amount into it and put a huge amount of visual interest in terms of the backgrounds and how they changed and the kind of imagination they used in that. I think everybody was really pleased with the final result.
If you're a first-time buyer, you might be considering your options. Bank of Ireland has a dedicated first-time buyers fund with mortgages available for less than €850 a month. So if you're a first-time buyer, start here.